In 1986, when services to people in crisis in Sudbury's downtown core were needed, Father Don McMillan, Sister Patricia Kennedy, and St. Patrick's Church responded by purchasing the building located at 251 Elm Street West, and the inner city home of Sudbury was born. With its doors open to all, the original goal of the non-denominational home was to provide counseling and hospitality to those in need. But as more people came and discussed their situations, it became evident that their most immediate needs had to be satisfied. So with the help of the Catholic Charity Soup Kitchen, the inner city home opened its food bank. As the food bank drew more people to the home, a deeper understanding of their needs was recognized, and specific counseling services were made available. Director of the home, Marian Lee, explains.
Inner City Home of Sudbury is a drop-in crisis center, home of hospitality, a place where people can come in and have a coffee and talk to a volunteer to tell their story. Any given time that they might find themselves in crises or in need of just someone to talk to. One of our primary services certainly has been the emergency food bank, and along with that and listening to people's stories over the years, we started to see the need for different types of workshops and crisis counseling that we could offer to service people in crises, the different programs that they had a need for.
Today, the Inner City Home offers a series of life skills workshops, including topics such as stress and anger management and building self-esteem. Through this, the home encourages and enables people to deal with their particular situations. Also, people with deeper problems requiring assistance beyond the scope of the Inner City Home are guided to other appropriate community services. Program coordinator and counselor Darla Barnes tells us more.
Probably the biggest essence that we have in the community is that we catch the people who fall in between the gaps of the community. The biggest challenge that clients of Inner City Home face is that they don't have a support system. So what I try and do is build a community support system for them so they don't feel alone, so that they can go to another agency, as you know, drop in and have a coffee, and so they can just touch base with other agencies.
Although demand for food varies throughout the year, the home assists an average of 800 people a month, and approximately 1,000 new families are registered every year. The Inner City Home serves families and individuals from all walks of life, and often it's by people who are experiencing a temporary setback who only ever make one visit to the food bank. Whatever their situation, the need is real, and Inner City Home of Sudbury is there.
I'm out of food. I've got 4 children. It's hard to survive with just a little bit of money that the government provides us, with all the expenses that it costs us out there. Everything's going up. Checks are not going up, but everything is. So the more that things are going up, the less that we have to provide for our children for food.
I broke my arm a month ago, and I had to pay for the ambulance, so that took money out of my fixed income, so I run a little short this month. So this is a godsend, really.
I'm a single mom, and I work, but obviously I don't make enough money to pay for everything by myself. So I'm using the Sudbury Food Bank to feed my kids so they can go to school.
Self-esteem often suffers when one falls on hard times, no matter how temporary. A kind word, an understanding ear, and a helping hand are all encountered at the Inner City Home. The home listens and helps its clients to evaluate their particular situation, encourages them to reestablish their identity, and motivates them to take the necessary steps to change their lives for the better. Often, by walking a short distance with someone proves to be the inspiration they need to continue walking in the right direction on their own.
They provide not only the food bank, but the counseling services they offer free of charge for those who can't afford it. The counseling and things that they offer here allow people to go beyond looking at just their circumstances, but to look at themselves as a person and to see how they can make changes for the better.
I've had the fortune to take many of the courses provided here for people. I've received some one-to-one counseling as well when I felt the need of it, and that was really, really helpful to me too. I know now how to handle stress when I'm dealt with stress. I know how to bring myself up when I'm having a bad day through building my self-image and self-esteem.
They come from the courses with some newfound confidence and a little bit of hope, I think, that they can take a little bit more control of their situation or their life events, and they can make some positive steps forward.
The services of the Inner City Home are provided by one full-time director, one part-time program coordinator counselor, post-secondary placement students, and over 120 dedicated volunteers. The commitment and loyalty of the skilled and caring staff are directly responsible for the success of the Inner City Home.
I chose to become a volunteer here at Inner City because after I retired, I wanted to become involved in helping in the community. We do a lot to make people feel good as well as feed them. And I think they just like coming in and talking with us.
I think it's a really worthwhile thing to do because we are dealing with the working poor. And it just makes you feel that you're giving something back to the community.
The staff here are extremely patient. They're kind, loving, they're non-judgmental. It doesn't matter what type of background you come from, they're just here to help.
I've come here lots of times, and every time I feel great when I leave here. Everybody here treats everybody equal.
Our volunteers are excellent. We all work for the same purpose, for the good of the others, to help someone who needs the help.
The growth of the center has been steady since it first opened, particularly with the establishment of a second food bank in New Sudbury. Therefore, adequate funding is crucial to the services the home is able to provide. The Inner City Home of Sudbury receives grants for volunteer training and client education from the Bishop Carter Foundation, the Trillium Foundation, and the United Way. However, the major source of funding comes from private donations. Because of this, support from the community is vital to the home's operation. The Inner City Home continues to work closely with other social agencies to respond to the needs of the community. The expansion of present services and the development of new services is an ongoing process. So ultimately, the success of the home depends on the support of people like you. Without it, the Inner City Home of Sudbury would simply disappear.
They know they can come here, they won't be turned away. They know they will be listened to, they know they will be treated as a person.
Donations coming into the home are used strictly to provide the services of Inner City Home, to provide the workshops, the counseling, the resourcing, to provide the food.
If it wasn't for the food bank, I don't know, I'd be lost.
No parent likes to hear their children say that they're hungry.
It doesn't mean that there isn't a helping hand to get you back up and on your feet. So, that's what these people do here. They offer that helping hand when you need it.
To help, please call 675-7550 or drop in for a visit at 251 Elm Street.